All right, so let's check out. Let's see what's going on with Coach Colin. See, I actually like Coach Colin and how he doesn't get too overtly horrible.
Let's get into it. Coach Colin here. What's going on?
Candace Owens destroys Ben
guys,
Shapiro with Charlie Kirk text.
But we press on.
And so so now there's like a whole thing going on with Charlie, like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro over Charlie Kirk now because like that's the next angle because obviously like I give Bronson that take, bro. Like they got to keep the story going for as long as possible to distract people. That is true.
Press on regardless. We don't do a second take with the claps. Now, Candace Owens brings receipts. Candace Owens is dissecting what Ben Shapiro has said about her because Candace, in this case, is not the first one to strike. It's actually Ben Shapiro calling her evil. And I know this because I've been covering all of this. I mean, it's not just Candace. I've been covering anyone and everyone who's been talking about the Charlie Kirk case to find out information. He made up a blatant lie about Candace Owens. And of course, people are just kind of people who support him, the Philadelphia side of things. They are just taking that and running with it. They're applauding. They love what Ben has to say. But those of us who have a little bit of critical thinking skills and have the ability to search things on YouTube are like, this didn't happen. What he said just didn't happen at all. Now we're going to go through what Ben said. Let's just hear it.
For example, Candace Owens. I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now.
Now, see, I already saw this on another video. Like, this is how I was like, oh, I need to react to this because I watched this, and then this is I'm pretty certain he's gonna go over Candace's response to this. And I watched this, and I was like, okay, well, I can just respond to what Candace's response is.
Okay, and I say that again.
But what? Because I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
And she didn't. She definitely did not do that.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk, yes.
Okay. Like I said, I don't take in that content, which is an honest statement. I don't have time to watch Candace's show.
I believe you. But the point that I'm making is that
what I understand
friendship should not, in our business, I think it's important. Listen,
friendship should not trump. We don't even know each other.
I understand, but even with Tucker, friendship should not trump our manifest requirement to speak out when people do and say things that are both detrimental to conservatism and morally wrong.
Okay, so I don't totally disagree, but I think the way of handling that, at least for me, is much different. So I saw things go south between you and Tucker.
Very interesting that Ben said that. And if you see what he did, he said, yes, she is accusing Erica
I watched a much larger
and then went to say Seth Dillon, Turning Point insiders. So he's trying to ball Erica up with Turning Point insiders. We'll get into why that is completely wrong as well. Candace Owens had this to say, and I'm going to be playing her full reaction pretty soon, but this is what she said when she first saw it. This is beyond smearing. He tried to pressure Megyn Kelly to make a statement about me by lying through his teeth and explicitly stating that I accused Erica of killing her husband and then saying it was evil, that Megyn had to condemn it. He is completely deranged. This is from Candace Owens. She's not playing around, and she always comes with receipts, and these receipts are huge. Text messages between her and Charlie. It really makes you wonder, and I wish she would release all of them.
My bad. I was giving you some context because it's clown world we live in.
Because she probably has thousands and thousands of tweets. Thousands of texts that we could really get an insight into what Charlie Kirk thought about everything. A real insight, a real insight. Anyways, let's jump into it. This is her just talking about it in her podcast. And then we're going to get into her actually exposing Ben as lying with text messages. It's wild. Let's get into it. I know, way too close to the camera, but you have to understand, I have a Patreon now, so consider subscribing to the Patreon. As you know, sometimes we get attacked by bigger accounts and it puts this channel in jeopardy. On Patreon, I'll be able to talk about things that I can't talk about here, and you'll have more of a link to me just in case, because like I said, they're going to figure out this whole Philadelphia thing
He's talking
that
about
I've been rolling
Israel
with the past few weeks. And if they do, you'll find me over there. Link in the description.
Agreements that they're not going to go work for Tucker Carlson for 6 months. It's strange. Anyways, he jumps into this explaining his upset that like Tucker left him on red. I don't know. Tucker and him had a nice conversation on the day that Charlie Kirk died, and Tucker then sent a nice text because Ben had called him. And I guess Ben thought there would be more of a follow-up, and there wasn't. So here is Ben complaining about that and then spinning it into the accusation that Tucker Carlson somehow supports Mamdani. I don't know. Take a listen.
So I texted him and I said, thanks so much for calling. It means the world. It truly does. Should we do a show together talking about the DSA threat, Democratic Socialist America threat, and orienting in the same direction? Happy to do whatever it takes to bring everyone back together for the fight that matters. And Tucker then wrote back, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to spend the next week or two thinking about how to be most effective. The country is clearly on the brink. I reached out repeatedly after that. Nothing happened. And again, I thought it was a good idea at the time. I think I felt differently after I saw what he did with Nick Fuentes, and after he proceeded, in my opinion, to spend the subsequent weeks doing literally nothing to fight the left. I say this with sadness because Tucker used.
I think Tucker has the potentiality to be one that is remembering who one is. Because, see, like, the fact that he is now has been being attacked by the left, is on the right, and is now attempting to bridge the gap between left and right by having Nick Fuentes on his show. And look how mad the right got at him for attempting to bridge the gap. So you see the levels of insanity, is that you can't even attempt to bridge the gap to neutrality on any issue and just see that, hey, you are me and I am you. And there is no need for us to do all that we do.
To be, I think, a deeply important part of the conservative push to win.
There is pretty crafty. I'm going to jump over to another clip here where she starts talking. Right now she starts exploring Tucker, but I'm going to show you the clips where she focuses on her and Ben, just Candace versus
right,
Ben.
Okay, cool. I already seen all that other stuff anyways.
Ben
if you didn't get a chance to see that,
I mean, let's just be.
I would highly suggest going to find the full interview if you didn't get to watch, because this is obviously going to be clipped up. I thought he was going to be playing more of not clips, more of a video, right? So that's me. And if you want to go watch the full thing in its whole context, you got to go look it up, because I didn't do that.
Real. That's why they've never had a debate before. You know what I mean? Obviously. But it's very sneaky what he's doing here, because he's trying to frame it with Tucker. And I'll just touch on this quickly. He's trying to say, you know, Tucker hasn't really covered, what is his name? Zoran Mamdani. He really hasn't covered it. He hasn't fought against the left the way he needs to. He used to be somewhat important in the conservative movement, but not anymore, because he hasn't done this one thing. Now, what he's doing there is actually really, it's interesting, because it's not that he cares about that, but what he cares about is the result that he can get out of people by focusing on that, which is ousting Tucker Carlson from the conservative movement, because Tucker Carlson is hosting people like Nick and is also asking questions about a place that Ben holds near and dear to his heart. In fact, some even say that he holds it closer to his heart than he does America. So that's really what the issue is that he wants.
I'm pretty sure everyone who supports Israel, bro, supports Israel more than they support the United States.
Tucker out because of what Tucker is starting to question and what Tucker is starting to platform and the direction that he's going in. But it has nothing to do with whether or not Tucker is willing to fight the left. Has nothing to do with that. But he's taking his agenda and he's wrapping it up in this other stuff. So it's more digestible for everybody that's hearing it. It makes sense, right? Anyway, let's jump in the next clip. Candace Owens talking about Ben.
What Ben said about me, because it's so outrageous and it's so dishonest that we actually should process what is happening here. Okay, this is a watershed moment. Ben does not have it together. He is very insecure, and he's going on the attack against Megyn Kelly by lying about what I said and then forcing her to react to the evil of what I never said. Here's what Ben said.
We're in a business where people comment on what we say publicly. Again, this is why I think you and I differ on our angle with regard to, for example, Candace Owens. I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that again.
But what?
Because
like I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Yes.
It's just, I don't even know how to respond to it because it just never happened. It's so crazy. He's not even anywhere near what's happened. Anybody who's watched this show,
Right, that's
I actually was getting flack
crazy,
from my
bro.
audience.
Like, seriously, like, bro, when I heard that shit earlier today, bro, I was like, bro, dude, like, I remember exactly, like, I don't remember exactly what she said because I don't have, like, photographic memory. I only have, you know what I mean? Eidetic memory. So, like, I just know that there was no part in her statement. I covered this. I know it's on my YouTube channel. I forget the fucking video that I did. Anyways, nowhere did she say anywhere that Charlie Kirk was murdered by Erica Kirk. Not even a little bit.
For not covering Erica's past or speaking about her parents. I said she gave one of the most consequential speeches, and I have focused my investigation on Turning Point USA and why they're telling certain lies. Seth Dillon, I told the truth that Seth Dillon lied about the Hamptons meeting and that he was pressuring Charlie about the topic of Israel.
Philadelphia.
I never once accused Seth Dillon
Israel
of murdering Charlie Kirk. So what's he actually doing here, right? Obviously.
Look, this is what I'm talking about. Is he doesn't want to get in trouble with YouTube, so he's saying Philadelphia and just instead of saying Israel. And then even when other people say Israel, he's saying Philadelphia and trying to cover up Israel being said. And the thing is if you want to fix the problem, you got to call the problem out. If you stay silent about the problem, it doesn't matter how much you try to fix it. It's not going to get fixed because the problem is making sure you don't say the problem.
There's a lot of layers that we should peel back, and it's important that we do it. The least interesting part of this is the fact that he's lying through his teeth. That's implied he's a
Philadelphia.
Zionist. But
And I'm also not saying that Israel is the reason why Charlie Kirk died, just to be clear.
there's a lot more that's happening that meets the eye because Ben Shapiro was effectively the final boss of the.
I'm saying I don't know what's going on. This is political and high stakes theater where death can occur dramatically and really, truly actually happen to you. Like, comprehend, it's an act. They're all acting, bro. It's all a script, bro. But their script comes with, like, they in the Running Man. You know what I mean? Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, he had the fucking run. Or what's that one movie, Gamer? I think it's called Gamer with, what's his name? And the dude, like, a child, like a teenager controls him, and he's, like, the best player in the game. Where real people control other real people in a game that's like, it's a game, but they could die in it. You know what I'm saying? That's what these people are in. They're in a high stakes game.
Pro Philadelphia.
Lobby. And
Israel.
It's because he never comes out and says what he means. He's kind of like more of a behind the scenes person. And we're now watching him come undone in real time because no matter who you are in this age of digital media, it is simply not a good idea to lie through your teeth. Okay. Wrong time, 2025.
Yeah. Probably
Before
not
you
a
get
good
the lie
idea.
out, the internet is going to clock it, right? They're going to go back and be like, you lied. And when you do something like that, the blowback is going to be on you. They're going to go, actually, this now impacts your credibility. You said that Candace went out and said something about Erica. By the way, you hear the people in the background going, woo! I'm going to tell you what's happening there too. And you're going to see how this thing really works. Point number one that I want to make about what Ben is doing right here is just the stunning hypocrisy of it. Okay. The rules for thee and not for me. I am getting old. My memory is getting a little fuzzy, but I distinctly remember the week that I was gloriously fired from the Daily Wire. And during that week, the CEO of the
Shut the fuck up, Candace. You are not getting old, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Daily Wire, at the time it was Jeremy Boring.
You are not. Hold on. How old is man? Hold on. Get the fuck out of here, Candace. I know she's joking, but I still need to know. How old is Candace Owens? Bro, you only 36 years old, lady. Get the fuck out of here.
Jumped onto an X Space hosted by Lauren Chen and had a conversation with Nick Fuentes where he sang Nick Fuentes' praises and also invited him onto the Daily Wire. Okay. Here's a headline because the Huffington Post remembers too. Daily Wire CEO tells white supremacist Nick Fuentes that he's talented and he's very funny. The article goes on. During a live streamed conversation with white supremacist Nick Fuentes last week, the CEO of the Daily Wire, a major right-wing media outlet, praised the prominent fascist influencer and offered only mild criticism about some of his political views, a stark difference from how he has spoken about Fuentes in the past. On March 25th, the Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring joined Fuentes on X for a live audio chat room. Boring told Fuentes that he listens to Fuentes' show quite often and that he thinks Fuentes is, quote unquote, very funny and one of the most talented political influencers, even if he is very concerned about some of what Fuentes says. Later in the discussion, Boring said that he'd be thrilled to have Fuentes.
Okay. Seems based, right? Like, it seems like he can. The dude is saying, like, okay, there's things that I don't like that he says. Just he's doing a good job at what he's attempting to do, which is be a political influencer, even if some of his takes are crazy. Like, that's a very objective, seemingly rational statement that could be portrayed. I don't know. I don't know enough about. I didn't know he was a white supremacist or whatever the fuck, or whatever they called him, fascist.
On one of the Daily Wire's shows to debate the media company's popular pundits, some of whom have millions of viewers.
Magnus Pro is
Commercial.
a game changer. It made all of your cables disappear with the world's first integrated power supply column.
This happened. So I want you just to remember this because I feel like people.
So Candace goes on to talk about the hypocrisy within Ben, because what happens is that the Daily Wire, now Tucker platformed Nick, and a lot of people didn't like that, right? But in 2024, the CEO, now I don't know if he's still the CEO, Jeremy Boring, he actually was trying, he wanted to platform Nick as well. He actually did an X Space with Nick where they actually talked about certain things, and he actually said that he watches his show all the time. He said that he's very funny. He said that he's one of the best political voices out there, very talented, like said all this way more than what Tucker said. Tucker said, like, yeah, you're pretty smart, et cetera, while they were sitting down together. But Jeremy took it way beyond what Tucker did, and that was completely fine. I mean, CEO of the Daily Wire, you know? But now when Tucker does it, it's a big problem. It's very interesting the way that works. Very, very interesting.
It's because
Let's jump over to the next clip.
Is eating itself right now, and it's glorious watching the system eat itself to death.
This is Candace providing the receipts. Let's get into that.
Yes, that's what I'm here for. Let's go.
That when I was telling you that Ben called Charlie and he was lamenting the fact that Charlie and I had this friendship and warning him that he shouldn't have him, Charlie felt like Ben was like throwing down like slave owner vibes. And he was just like, he thinks I like own you or something, but I'm going to show you the text messages because otherwise you'll say it didn't happen. Here we go. This was, again, everything. Ben was going on people's shows and talking down about me and Charlie. And he said, you're bigger than Ben now. I'm walking into the White House yesterday. I realized that. I said, I know. He hates it. And he said, we just have to treat him like noise. He wants you to punch down to him. His respect amongst movement fighters is quite low. I feel like that's relevant right now to what Ben's doing. He wants to egg on this fight because he's lost a certain bit of respect. And then Charlie goes on, you got in his head, which is terrific. The Ben thing involves me more than he wants to admit. And then we went on, and this is the same conversation. He knows that Jon Snow, he's using a Game of Thrones reference, is stronger as the dragons fly higher. And he said it pisses him off, and he is sending his incestuous brother to go try and kill us. It's worse. He views you as my slave, 100%. Control her is what he really was saying to me when he called. So this has been, and by the way, like I said, I have hundreds of these messages.
Wow. That's wild. Just so you know, that's why. Because it shows, first off, it shows.
See, that's so funny. See, most people need to pay attention to, like, that's so funny, bro. Like, Ben probably is, like, sitting there talking, like, Ben Shapiro, right? Like, talking about that. And he has no idea that there's, like, 50 conversations about him between him and Candace, probably. Or Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a very good strategic move to do, bro. You should do some intel before you just start making statements, bro.
That my boy Charlie loved games.
And it's funny, too, because Ben Shapiro, fucking in that interview, if you go watch, bro, multiple times pulls out his phone. I got texts, I got this, I got that. And it's like, well, her text messages just made all your text messages look like shit.
Thrones. So that's just amazing because I love Game of Thrones. I have to say.
Oh, my goodness. Look, it's something I need to do, but I've never watched Game of Thrones. I've watched snippets. I've never actually watched Game of Thrones.
Really do. So the fact that he was throwing in a reference there was amazing, but also it shows how he's actually felt about Ben. That is mind-blowing to me. And Charlie was very close with Tucker Carlson. So it's I just, man, it really shows Ben in a different light. You know, I don't want to say anything vulgar about him, but it
I'm pretty certain Ben Shapiro's a Zionist.
shows him in a very different light. Tucker feels a certain way about Ben, and you can tell. Tucker very close to Charlie. Charlie clearly felt that way about Ben as well. And not really, honestly, not respecting him much. Definitely not the way you would talk about a friend. So they weren't even friends. But if you notice in the media, especially Ben himself, especially the Turning Point people, Andrew, whoever else was on deck when Ben actually stepped in and was on Charlie's show, they framed it like, you know, Ben's been framing it like as if they were close. And they weren't. Oh man, and Candace just
paid
said
liars,
I have
bro.
hundreds
I'm
of
telling
these
you,
messages.
dude, they're paid
I have
liars.
hundreds of these messages. Release them, Candace, please.
Well, I mean,
this is nuts.
That was enough for me, bro. I don't think you really need to release much more,
Charlie
bro.
Didn't really like Ben all that much. She said it like 2 episodes ago, two of her live streams ago, and she was like, "I have the text to prove it." She's like, "I have the receipts," and here they are. She wasn't lying. Imagine what else she has. Can you imagine? Oh man.
Yeah,
anyway, let's
imagine.
Let's keep going.
Messages. And so you have to imagine being in my position when you see someone who did everything he could to kind of stop the rise of Charlie Kirk, now trying to struggle session Megan, who was actually a very good friend to Charlie. Charlie deeply respected her. And towards the end, obviously, she took a very principled position on telling the truth about what he was going through. And Charlie dies, and suddenly he's like, I care about this evil that could be happening. Candace is investigating who killed her friend, and she shouldn't be doing that. I mean, there's no way to spin it. What is his suggestion here? That me asking questions about Turning Point USA somehow means that I'm blaming Erica, who wasn't even working for Turning Point USA when Charlie died, because now she's a CEO? Of course he doesn't believe that. And it is just, to me, it is truly so gross to do this to a person that you know you tried to block. And you just, now that he's dead, I guess you want to sort of rewrite history. That's what you're trying to rewrite history and pretend that you're his ardent defender.
So,
commercial.
that is what Candace had to say about that. It is, and there was more. And there was more. We're on YouTube. Maybe I'll show you guys that Patreon, or you jump over to Candace and you just skim through it and try and find it. And there was more that she had to say. But it got a little bit too into the Philadelphia weeds. You understand?
Israel.
We're trying to survive over here. But yeah, man, it's so wild. And you know what? I'll show you another clip, because he was trying to do that to Megan. He was trying to put her through a struggle session, and he was blatantly making things up about Candace. And then
Cutting
him
her
and
off.
Megan actually get into it.
Yeah.
In regards to, like, they start pretty much debating. Ben is getting way more agitated than Megan is. Way more agitated. You can see
Kinda
the
like
vein in his
badgering
neck
her.
bulging and things like that. Like, Candace is right.
Badgering
He's starting to
a
fall
little.
apart, because the narrative, and this is my opinion, the narrative that he's been sent to enforce inside of the conservative movement and be viewed as the independent voice that is trying to bring that narrative through is starting to fall apart. And he can't hold on to it because he doesn't have enough popularity. He doesn't have a roster of people who are young and popular. They got rid of Brett Cooper. They got rid of Candace. They're not really left with a lot of real hard hitters. Matt Walsh is absolutely fantastic, but you can't get Matt Walsh to enforce the narrative like Ben needs to. So he is starting to kind of, you can see he's falling apart, because Nick is coming, man. I'm just saying, he's coming. I mean, whether or not it's organic, that's a whole other episode that I can make, and I can go both ways on that. I can show you some things that show that it is or that it isn't, but it's all tinfoil. But yeah, Nick is there. And there's some other voices too. It's not just Ben anymore. At one point, it was almost like it was just Ben. He was this breakout star, and there was no one else going to the colleges like him, getting into these conversations. But now there's many people doing this.
Yeah,
and they're all willing
to
to ask the questions that he's not allowed to ask.
There's gonna be a lot more people starting to do stuff.
It's getting rough. But this is what he had to say to Megan near the end of their back and forth. And this is just shows. Think about what he said about Candace and how he was trying to force Megan to say, like, oh, why is it none of your business? What are you talking about? What do you mean it's none of your business? You talk about this for a living, Like, why? I'm sure if you, and then he brings up Erica and everything. I'm sure you'd be talking about it if it was someone on the left, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then after Megan kind of fights it off and she's like, I'm not going for this. I'm not going to condemn her. I'm not doing whatever you're trying to do right now. Then, and also he's trying to get her to condemn Tucker as well. And then this comes up. Listen to this.
Being called an anti at every turn and feeling angry about it.
You know what? I'm a little tired of the excuse that if you are called something enough, that justifies all of the subsequent activity. I've been called every goddamn name in the book. Every name in the book. And I have not but I have not shifted my positions because people call me names. That is a childish
Oh, the hypocrisy right in front of everybody, right in plain sight. I'm going to wear my yarmulke and then take the Lord's name in vain. Wait a second, that's against my own rules. I'm not supposed to do that. How do people keep listening to people that don't even follow the rules that they place for themselves? You see what I'm saying? Like, comprehend. I follow a lot of rules. Like, I follow what you would consider Christian rules. I follow what you would consider leftist rules. I follow what you consider rightist rules. I follow rules what you consider Satanist rules. I follow rules that are considered Buddhist rules. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I follow a lot of rules. You see what I mean? And I only follow the rules that make fucking sense to follow. It's like, killing in the preservation of having to require substance, right? It's the only reason anything should die, for any reason. and that's only as a biological natural order of cycles of the universe, right? Like the lion will not attack the deer at the same water hole it's at unless the tiger is hungry. If the tiger is already done that, you see what I'm saying? Or excuse me, the lion. Lion's a better example, I guess. I don't know, either animal, it doesn't really matter. Like what I'm saying is like in nature, animals only consume the stuff they eat when they need to consume the stuff they eat, and when they're not needing to do that, they don't do that. They don't just like, oh, I see something, I gotta kill it. Like you see what I'm saying? They go, oh, I'm not hungry right now. I just ate a big meal. You see what I'm saying? And so they're like, I'm just gonna drink this water and leave that deer alone. Does it make sense?
Thing to do.
Ben, with all due respect,
And pardon the language.
you did not have an entire country call you a Nazi for the past week. I think
No,
he's in a defensive place right now on charges of
I'm not
anti-Semitism.
interested in his psychotherapy, Megan.
I am. I love him as I love you.
Well, you know what? And that's why I started this off by saying you're empathetic and you're a wonderful person and you're a good friend. And I think that, there's a reason why in the medical industry you don't operate on your friends or your relatives.
But you're telling me I need to.
Exactly. He was telling her that she needs to, with Tucker and with Candace.
That was a good comeback.
No, Megan, actually, I haven't said that one time here.
Well,
I said
Yes, he has. That is what he was trying to get her to do with Candace. He was saying, why isn't this your business?
Right.
Now, they're not as close as her and Tucker, right? Megan says they don't even know each other, but I think they kind of do. I don't know why she's saying that. I feel like they have crossed paths before.
They would have to, bro.
But they're
they
just
live in
not
the
close
same
friends or anything like that. But even still, he
universe.
was trying to get her to
They're
do
in the
this with
same
Tucker.
world
Her and Tucker are actually very
viewpoint.
close. They talk quite a bit. Charlie was
Hierarchy,
close to
ladder,
Tucker. Megan
pyramid
is
scheme.
close to Tucker, and all three of them had that same type of strength of relationship. And also, Megan was quite close to Charlie. So it really makes you think, because Megan's really walking the line just in general. Like, that's just how she operates. And if she knew Charlie really well and Tucker knew Charlie really well, they had to have known what Charlie was saying about Ben. And I wonder what they were saying back. Oh, I don't want to talk about Ben. Oh, he's a good guy. They were probably all vibing the same way, I would think. Tucker definitely was. And Megan probably was too, but she doesn't want to get into it like that. She tries to keep things clean and tries not to have any enemies and tries not to do any infighting when it comes to things on the right side. But yeah, that's Ben Shapiro, man. That's Ben Shapiro. He's trying to make this into something that is towards his benefit and towards the benefit of the narrative that he's trying to push ever so hard. And again, it's just wrapping it up in something that's more digestible. That's what he tried to do with Megan. He's like, well, I mean, she's accusing Erica of doing something to Charlie. Is that what she's doing? Yes. Then it becomes more digestible. Then you can say, oh, I can condemn that. I will condemn her for that reason.
Well, obviously, bro,
if
someone came out and did something like that, you'd probably do that
very sneaky.
on her
Very
in her
sneaky what he's
position.
trying to do. Very, very sneaky.
But they're all liars, so
Again, and it's all because people are questioning Philadelphia. He can't
Israel.
have that. He cannot have that. And I don't know why. I'll be as charitable as I can, and I'll say it's because of love in his heart for that place. And if
That didn't exist 80 years ago. Oh, let me do the math. Yeah. 80 years ago, Israel didn't exist. I'm not saying Israel at another such time may have existed at other moments in space. I'm stating it didn't exist before 80 years ago, other than what is considered biblical knowledge based on a story that no one can prove actually 100% is true. And it was word of mouth for the first 20 or 40 years before it was written down.
I wasn't charitable, I could say it's for other reasons too. You know what I mean? What do they call it? The $7,000 club? Uh, man, but yeah, just Candace going on a tear there. I honestly love to see it. I mean, when they were going back and forth, when she was leaving Daily Wire, I loved what I was seeing because I've seen Ben do this before. I know when people are trying to use one thing and they're trying to
Ben Shapiro did a rap song. You know that?
stuff their agenda
Like, and it's fucking hilarious.
in it, and they're trying to. It's a Trojan horse. That's what I was looking for. He's doing this Trojan horse thing, and he's doing it to the entire right, the entire political right. He's doing it to everybody. He's using this Trojan horse, but in reality, on the inside, there's something completely different that he is trying to protect, insulate, enforce. And if he just came out and said what his real intentions were, I think everybody would move away from him instantly.
Well, that's because Israel is losing its ability to have its control over the United States due to the fact that technology has risen to the point where information can move at an exponential rate, that there is no way for it to lie to the United States population, or for the politicians that work for the United States to lie to them about what they're truly doing. And the funny thing is all these dudes are getting paid little to no money practically by the Israel super PAC lobbyists to even warrant their decision making.
Think that's just me. I don't know. But I'm going to talk about what I really think on Patreon. That's what I've been doing. If you don't know, when it comes to Patreon, I have just been.
So, okay, this is why I'm gonna let it. I'm not gonna worry about what he says next because it's irrelevant to my mission. He's gonna go. I'm gonna make you pay me money to get to hear my true thoughts because he thinks YouTube won't let him speak his true thoughts. And I don't know about you, but check it out. Tomorrow I'm gonna post this video to YouTube, and I said Israel a bunch. I talked about Israel. I stated Israel outright. And guess what? I'm going to upload my video and it's going to come back that there's no issues. Just like every other video that I've done that has me talk about Israel in any sort of sense. Anyways, look. Jewish people are not the problem. The Jewish religion, all religions are a problem. See what I'm saying? Like, the people, none of the people are an issue. All of us are brainwashed in different areas that are designed to force us to be divided against other brainwashed areas. So that way these brainwashed areas and these brainwashed areas clash with each other, and it helps keep the population under control. And see, the system's already lost all control over the population, so therefore it has no ability to control what I'm doing or anyone else like me that is doing anything that is attempting to find the truth that must go for everyone, so we can stop living this horrendous lie we're in. All right, later. Bye. I'm out of here. Peace.